these guys, and extending the hand. They're shaking, and I think we're about to start. We got turn 1 fetch polluted into a preordain.
So every turn really counts in this matchup. You know, there's a little bit of jockeying for position, but you're trying to assemble your combo as quickly as possible and get a feel for how much disruption your opponents might have. Because of that card, the card's like a single duress from Adam is better than it normally would be. It's good not just because it gets a card out of Ross's hand, but because it's a Jataxian probe. Because it finds out what's in Ross's hand. And I mean, to that level, Adam's also playing Jataxian probe.
I was just looking at the list of players who are at the top of the standings. The name that I'm actually really excited by the most, honestly, is Carrie Oliver, because Carrie came here from England to play in this event. So it's really cool to see Carrie at a healthy 6 wins. And Carrie's opponent is Jeff Hoogland.
Right, so Jeff also quite the rogue brewer. So
should be fun to watch that. I wish that we could see that hopefully later this weekend. We have a Gitaxian Pro from Ross Merriam, Brainstorm, Cabal Therapy, Ponder, Brainstorm, Tendrils, Island.
All right, so a fair amount of work left to be done by Adam. He has a cantrip heavy hand, so he's really just missing the ritual pieces, and possibly a way to find a past, or possibly a way to find a way to recur his spells. But he has a lot of the important parts here. It looks like he will have around a turn 3, I would imagine, with that sort of hand.
And land go from Ross Merriam. If you're just joining us, I'm Adrian Sullivan here in the booth with the one and only Matthias Hunt. A second turn duress from Adam Prosak. Let's see what you've got. And Spell Pierce. How about that card?
And that untapped land from Ross really does represent the Spell Pierce. So duress is what was drawn by Prosak off that preordain. And Prosak all gas on the Ponder. He hits LED, Infernal Tutor, and I believe Dark Ritual. Or sorry, Cabal Ritual, the other ritual. So at this point, yeah, it does look like Adam, I believe, is going to be able to do a turn 3 kill next turn.
All of which, of course, presumes that Ross doesn't have anything to say about it.
Right, so the question is whether he will want to do one. And that's, the thing is, Adam's holdings don't really improve too much with an additional turn. He does not have another duress. He can try to brainstorm for another duress or another sort of disruption, but otherwise we'll see him probably go for the combo relatively quickly.
Ross Merriam casts main phase Brainstorm, finds I think I saw a sneak attack, a Brainstorm, and a land, but I'm not 100% sure about that second Brainstorm, if I saw it or not.
All right, so yeah, Ross, we will catch here. Looks like he has a misdirection, which he's putting back on top. He does have sneak attack. And we still actually haven't gotten to see Ross's hand. That duress was Spell Pierce, so we're not really sure the speed of his combo right now.
In a lot of ways, the Sneak and Show list is reminiscent of some combo decks from around the 2000-2001 era, which is to say, they can play it slow. They can play it slow and be a little bit like a control deck, and then win all at once.
You're saying like an Illusions Donate sort of deck?
Yeah, like an Illusions Donate, like Tricks, or like an early High Tide lists, which started out looking kind of controlling until they just went and said, nah, you're dead.
Right, so Ross, not even representing the Spell Pierce, he's going to Ponder here. He finds a second sneak attack, which he won't use, and he looks like he could have drawn a 1 of Intuition. Instead, he's deciding to just shuffle.
I think he might be hunting for a Force of Will. You can see in the far background, there's Caleb Durward shuffling up as well.
Yeah, so yeah, he's hunting for a Force of Will is one thing to do. A card like Intuition isn't even a card in this match because it's very unlikely that Ross will have time to catch to even cast an Intuition. He knows how fast Adam's hand is. I mean, he very well could be dead this turn.
Main phase Brainstorm, trying to build up a powerful turn.
Land, another Infernal Tutor.
I think I saw 2 land off of that Brainstorm.
Yep. And this should, he's putting back down, this should be enough for Adam to go for it. So for those of you who are not familiar with Storm, walking through the combo, it's probably one of the most fun parts of the deck. He's putting back, he's getting rid of the Tendrils right now. He has an intention of finding the Tendrils later. Basically what he's intending to do is cast a lot of rituals, then LED and Infernal Tutor. You can Infernal Tutor that at that point, for, as long as he Infernal Tutors for a Past in Flames. If he has a red, he can get red mana off his LED, Past in Flames, recast all his rituals, recast his Infernal Tutor for Tendrils, and then Tendrils for lethal. Is the standard combo option. One of the fun parts about Storm is there's a lot of non-standard ways to do it too.
You can see Adam was taking his time there trying to figure out what he wanted to do. I mean, does he go for the kill right now? A Force of Will could be a real problem. It looks like he might be doing it. We have a fetch.
Well, the thing is that there's not a specifically good card to Force of Will. Ross can, I think, like, probably the LED is the card you do on a Force of Will, because remember, Adam has a backup. He has a backup Infernal Tutor. So there's not, like, you could maybe Force of Will, I guess what you Force of Will is the Past in Flames, which is getting cast. That would probably, like, if he goes for a Past in Flames kill, then you'd wait for that.
It depends on, the specifics of Adam's hand, whether it's the forcing of a critical mana accelerant, like Cabal Ritual at a certain point, or Lion's Eye Diamond at a certain point, or getting that Past in Flames, like you said, or even getting that first Infernal Tutor. Knocking out that 2 mana can sometimes be so much that you can't finish going off, because you needed to be able to have the extra mana left over sometimes.
Right. Adam's hand looks to be a little long on mana. Obviously, Ross doesn't know that. What was great is that Ross, when he saw the hand, it was a bunch of cantrips. Those cantrips have since turned into a bunch of rituals, but Ross really doesn't know that. And it
looks like more sculpting.
Yeah, and so it's possible he's trying to dig for a duress here and go off the following turn. He does have to watch out if he does that, because the way Ross has played this game, to me at least, smells of a turn 3 kill on Ross's side. He's low on disruption, which means he's heavy on something else. And Adam brainstorms into an ad nauseum. If he chooses to go that route, he can not burn all his rituals. And it looks like he's going to go for the ad nauseum route.
Ad nauseum, another good card to Force of Will.
Yep. So this route still soft to Force of Will.
Says go. Let's see what Ross can put forth to put some pressure on. More of the building it style.
Does not look like Ross has the kill this turn. That's going to be pretty dangerous for him. You would have to think, if you're Ross, that you need to end this turn with a couple counter spells. You have to know that Adam has the ability to go off at this point. Maybe he can't go off through all the counter spells you have, but certainly if you don't have anything, will win.
Ross contemplating what to return to the top of his library with a brainstorm. Looks like he's got 2 candidates well in mind. I think I see a sneak attack in his hand. I'm not 100% sure of that. The way he's been holding his hand, it's been hard to see. And unfortunately, Evan Irwin has not yet perfected our 3D technology. Coming soon, though, in I don't know how long, we're going to have 3D broadcasts so you could just crane your neck a little bit and tell.
Right. So
I can see you trying to crane your neck,
yeah,
Matthias.
It's not working. I'm testing it out. No, technology has not totally working.
Get on it, Evan. Where's our 3D technology? Come on.
So it does look like Ross has the sneak attack in hand, which we already had known. He also has a Gristlebrand in hand. The question is how much mana and/or disruption he has.
The acceleration that he has access to in his deck, City of Traders, Ancient Tomb, and of course Lotus Petals.
He also has a Show and Tell in hand right now, so what he can at the very least do is he can Show and Tell out to the Gristlebrand and hope to draw a lot of counter spells. This is going to put him down to 15, which is 2 activations of Gristlebrand worth of mana.
Boom! The Gristlebrand is down. And at this point, he, as you said, can get 2 activations worth. That is very likely to find Force of Wills.
Well, I mean, the interesting part is if Adam had kept that Tendrils, Adam couldn't, there's the danger of Adam naturally just casting a Tendrils. But Ross is going to try to win this turn if he can find something.
I saw a Misdirection amongst all of those cards. Misdirection only effective against the Cabal Therapy that Adam might open up with.
Right.
Now, of course, if he does misdirect a Cabal Therapy, Adam can just name, for example, Ali from Cairo, or any other card that he does not have in his deck.
And Ross preparing, so he's going to have to survive one more turn. He gets to have a great hand to do it with. Remember, he drew 7 off this Gristlebrand. We'll see what he picks. By going to 8, Adam does not have to make a very big storm to win this game.
And Ross has an Emrakul in his hand, does not discard it. He's planning on trying to kill Adam next turn.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and sneak attack him with the Emrakul, is what it looks like.
Here it comes,
All right,
Lion's Eye Diamond. This is actually one of those cards that is potentially worth countering.
And he's going to go ahead and start with a with Cabal Ritual. He does have Threshold, so that's big. Big game right here, right? 5 black, that's the second spell of the game. Now he's going to go ahead and try to up it by 3 more, up to 8 black, which is the third spell of the game. At this point, this is, is a little bit of a game of chicken here. We'll see, he's going to try to draw out the first counter spell. Ad Nauseam Ross probably cannot let Ad Nauseam resolve.
3 mana remains.
And things are grim, but not over for Ross. Alright, so he knows once that... I don't think Ross can let Ad Nauseam resolve. It seems unlikely. The hard part is that the reason he can't activate Gristlebane a second time is he needs 1 life to pay to Force of Will.
Oh boy, I think it's resolving.
Oh wow, and he has sacrificed the LED with that? It looks like
He's preparing to sacrifice it, it looks like.
Right, Infernal
Oh
Tutor,
wow, 16.
Dark Ritual,
15.
15. Swamp, LED. So remember, he gets to...
14.
Yep, he gets to continue to take as many of these as he wants.
12. 11.
That's a Cabal Therapy, I believe.
10. 9.
And yeah, with all these cards, it seems unlikely that Ross will be able... Yeah, he's going to go ahead and stop there. The Therapy is good enough. Maybe he's going to continue going. Let's see what he's debating here on it.
8.
Lotus Petal, great
7.
find.
6. 5. Now there's a question mark. 4. Oh, I'll stop.
Yep, so Staps goes down to 4 life, gets that entire stack of cards. So the LED is still on the table. And then we're 3 black floating. We're probably going to see a Gitaxian Probe followed up by Cabal Therapy. So,
Probe, 5th spell for the turn.
yeah, at this point, Adam has more than enough spells. That's all. So we'll see Emrakul, Sneak Attack, Ponder, and just a misdirection from Ross really is not going to be enough. This is a green light for Adam. We'll see what he does. Therapy. Therapy's going to go ahead and he's going to name. Doesn't really matter. He'll go ahead and name.
I'll misdirect it to you.
Misdirects back to Prosak.
So now I will name Blaze of Glory or any other card.
Yeah, Ross is out of ways to interact. All Adam Prosak has to do is cast an Infernal Tutor with LED, crack an LED, and that should be enough to win. He's going to go ahead and play like 2 more LEDs just to be safe. But all he has to do is find that Tendrils, which should be easy at this point.
And he's like, yeah, I know you know how to play this game.
Right. So game 1 goes to Adam Prosak.
And, one of the things we saw earlier, Reed Duke in a unwinnable game situation. Reed Duke locked out by a Mud deck, but winning because the Mud player forgot to use Chalice of the Void to counter Reed Duke's Lightning Bolts.
Oh, wow.
But
that was last round?
That was a couple of rounds ago. And the thing is some people said that were spectating, online, like, just goes to show that you should never, ever concede. Well, Ross Merriam, he knows Adam Prosak is not going to make a mistake on a gold fishing moment in Storm.
Well, and it's possible that Adam just verbally said what he was going to do, and Ross is fine with that. There is a Tendrils in the deck. That's not really a secret to anyone.
Yeah, it's not like Adam is running the full bluff tournament deck where he's like 0 Tendrils. I'm just going to see if people concede to me.
Well, especially because the top 8 is known decks. That would be a really odd gambit to be running in this tournament.
Well, gambit. It's not even reasonable, right? So we go to the sideboards, and notoriously, Storm sideboards are often very, very small nudges here or there. The big reason you do not want to sideboard in too many cards. You can cease to be the deck that you need to be if you sideboard in too much.
So he has a third Cabal Therapy.
3 Carpet of Flowers, I'm sure, are going to come in, and he might stop there.
Right, so, you know, and that's probably the case that he'll stop there. Nothing else seems particularly strong right now. There's a Chain of Vapor. Probably doesn't expect any really big hate out of Ross's deck.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with bringing in, one Chain of Vapor if you want. You know, I'm not sure. I am not Adam Prosak, so I am not sure what the cards that you can afford to shave are in these various matchups. There are certainly things that you can do to shave things around, but that's the kind of thing where you have to so intimately know a deck, and I'm not a Storm Master, so we'll have to wait and see what Adam Prosak does to change his deck around. I've seen him play this matchup before. I know he'll bring in Carpet of Flowers. I'm not sure what else will change.
On Ross's side, the cards he has are fairly straightforward. He has 2 Red Elemental Blasts, which he'll almost certainly use. He has 3 Groff Digger's Cages. That could stop a Passing Flames kill. I don't think he'll use that. I really think it's probably just the Red Blasts. And he has 2 Vendilion Clicks. That's possible to use them, though I'm not sure how strong that actually is in the matchup. It's a lot of mana for what's a pretty quick matchup. So we may just see Red Blasts from Ross.
Now we're going to find out with Ross Merriam now on the play. You know, he was very close to taking things over with his Gristlebrand, but just did not find the kinds of things he needed to stop Adam Prosak from resolving an ad nauseum.
All right, and see opening 7s. Really remember, when you're looking at in a matchup like this, what you're doing is you're looking. Both players are probably looking here at how fast their hand is. Now, what's the Goldfish doing? Ross goes and shows his hand. It says he's mulliganing. Prosak follows.
Both of these decks are decks that, in some ways, don't like to be mulliganing. They're trying to piece together multiple things. Adam, as a Storm deck, specifically doesn't like to mulligan more so. What he can do to get out of it, though, is actually pretty amazing. A single casting of Ad Nauseam removes all of the pain of every mulligan that you've ever had to deal with ever before.
Right. So Adam has that explosive way to get out of a mulligan, but outside of that, you know, his deck really does use every card because it's this engine he's putting together. Ross is much more comfortable mulliganing. All he needs, you know, is a Gristlebrand, a Show and Tell, and some lands, and that's just enough.
Both of these decks running a lot of library manipulation. We see the card draw side of things for Adam Prosak: Probe, Gitaxian Probe, Brainstorm, Preordain, Ponder, and though costly, Infernal Tutor is still a card at 2 mana. Sometimes you just actually want to get a second copy of something you already have. You don't have to be hellbent for Infernal Tutor to be a valuable card in this matchup. Getting an extra Duress on turn 2 can be a part of how you push through for a turn 3 or a turn 4.
Alright, so on 6s, we'll see if either of them can put together one of those hands. Ross looks like he's fairly set in on his, and we'll see whether Prosak's following suit. And there we go.
Turn 1 land, Misty Rainforest, and Tropical Island.
Alright, so Adam Prosak does have a Gitaxian Probe. Instead, he chooses to lead on Preordain. Probe is a little more interesting in his deck. He has to be sure when he wants to time it, because it does add to his storm count if he's going for a storm kill.
And Ross fetches at the end of Adam's turn.
I said when he's going for a storm kill, if he's going, sometimes, you know, they're really just trying to count to 10, and sometimes they're casting Ad Nauseam. In which case, that one, then storm count doesn't matter.
Volcanic Island at the end of the turn.
You see, Ross looks like he does have an answer to him, and exactly what I said before.
Turn 2.
All he needed to win Woods was some lands, a Show and Tell, and a Gristlebrand. Ross has all 3.
There it is. Adam
Does get a land off it. Is that going to be enough? His hand has to have some pretty good play to it.
Let's see what you got over there, Ross.
Sneak attack, brainstorm, fetch land. And 7 more cards off the top of the deck. What Adam can do is, I mean, no, he really just has to storm the whole way. I was going to say he can try to just chip at Ross's life totals so that he can't use the Gristlebrand. Not really a reasonable plan, though.
Yeah, Adam basically has to win right now.
Alright, so he starts with a brainstorm. I don't think he doesn't seem to think he can do it. He has some dark rituals. The biggest problem he's going to have is going to be blue mana. He has that 1 fetch land, so he's got to make sure that he can preserve his blue mana for when he needs it.
You might wonder, why does Adam need to do it right now? Well, effectively, Ross is at a virtual 21 extra cards,
Right.
including numbers of counter spells of various sorts. If Adam doesn't win right now, he will most likely will not be able to win tomorrow.
Yeah, the bigger thing is that, remember, Adam also has to try to choose a line which can win through a Force of Will. Ross, with the top 14 cards of his deck at his disposal, almost certainly can find a Force of Will if he needs to.
21 cards is a lot of cards. If you weren't around when Illusions Donate, the Illusions of Grandeur Donate deck was around, well, we see a chain of vapor targeting, I believe, our Mr. Gristlebrand here.
Yeah, and that's something Ross is gonna. Okay, now Ross is gonna have to dig for a Force of Will. That's a spell he really can't let resolve, especially given his hand. It's just a sneak attack and a brainstorm.
Well, I mean, if he finds a Lotus Petal, right, he can drop the Gristlebrand down again next turn and put Adam back in the same position. 1, 2,
That's
3, 4. There's a Force of Will. Yikes. That might be it.
He found your Lotus Petal as well. But that said, it's gonna get forced.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Alright, so at this point we have a Storm of actually up to 3. And 4 with Cabal Therapy.
He named something.
He named
Force
Sneak
of Will.
Attack.
He named Sneak Attack?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
He picked the quantity he knew over the guess that he didn't know.
Yep. And it's also a card to fear. You can see the Vendilion Click sitting there, hanging out. One of the things we saw at the Star City Games Milwaukee event, the Legacy event, Vendilion Click used to really, really great effect in the finals from the Sneak and Show deck.
Right. That deck actually was won by Adam Jansen piloting Sneak and Show.
Yep.
Alright, so
Gitaxian Probe, what do you have?
yeah,
How about that, Adam?
back.
Ritual, Preordain.
And that's so good for Ross. You know, he's not really in too much fear of a kill next turn either. Draws another probe. Probably not going to cast that one. Alright, so he's going to make a Scalding Tongue.
Land, Lotus Petal.
Yep, and at this point he's just trying to reduce his hand size to avoid discards. And Gristlebrand's going to start chunking in.
The lifelink on Gristlebrand is so devastating.
Yeah, it's really interesting. So normally, one hit with Emrakul wins the game, right? And you sometimes look at Gristlebrand and you say, hey, Adam gets more turns, but really one hit with Gristlebrand pretty much does the same. It's drawing 7 cards every time it hits in a deck with a lot of counter spells.
Preordain. Brainstorm and Lion's Eye Diamond.
Yeah, and that's going to be of no help to Adam. He's going to probably have to ditch the Lion's Eye Diamond, keep the Brainstorm, and gives him a second try at finding something. He also has to worry about Spell Pierce right now if he casts the Brainstorm.
And we saw a Spell Pierce drawn by Ross Merriam.
Right, well, he knows from game 1 that Ross plays it.
Ritual.
And I think he's going to go for the kill this turn. He's starting on Ritual so that he can better play around Spell Pierce by spending black mana instead of his fetch land. Nonetheless, I think it will bait out the Spell Pierce, and Adam will likely end his turn at that.
See Ross Merriam, a total of 5 mana in play. Only 3 lands, but that Ancient Tomb and that Lotus Petal, a little bit more mana for him.
Right. You'll see. He's going to go ahead and cast
Vendilion Click.
Vendilion Click in response to the
Wow.
Dark Ritual, and that's pretty brutal. What Adam can do, he does have a Brainstorm. He can try to hide, draw 3 and hide a good card.
But if he does that, then Ross says keep it.
Right. No, it's
There's no good things here for Adam.
yeah, there are no great plays. And I mean, Ross will probably switch away the brainstorm.
To the bottom. Let's see what you get. Unless it's a brainstorm, I think Adam's in real trouble. I mean, he's already in trouble. Unless it's a brainstorm or a ponder or something like right now. There's the spell pierce.
On the dark ritual.
Adam says, oh, it is a
Ritual
ponder.
Again,
Woo.
response. And that was a little, yep.
Spends that.
So he pays it. And he goes up to 4 black.
Gets up to 4 black, 4 black, 4 black. There we go.
And that dark ritual's open. So we have plenty of storm happening this turn. We have Vendilion Click, dark ritual, spell pierce.
So if he can ponder into a tendrils,
if you can ponder into a tendrils, that will be enough.
well, I mean, presuming, of course. Oh man,
That will do it. That should do it. There will be at least 6 spells on the turn. So that is, he's going to hopefully fish for a tendrils. I think,
I would force oil this ponder.
yeah, Ross does have access to the Forcible.
I don't know if he has one right now. I haven't seen his hand in a little bit.
I think if you're Ross, you may want to draw 7 to try to Forcible this ponder.
I agree. Because the tendrils is death no matter what.
Right. And Ross tanking here. Let's see if he's going to let the ponder happen. Looks like they're counting storm right now. Ross wants to know, is this tendrils he finds going to be
And he
lethal?
does do the draw.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's drawn a spell pierce, but no way to cast it.
Oh, now we're gonna find out if it's over. Not likely, but it is possible.
And Adam with
Oh!
and the top card.
Oh!
On the third one. You can see it over there.
Oh! And Jacob Van Loon walks over just in time to miss seeing the win.
Is your player at 8-0 at the end of day 1.
Lauren Lee,
on a
Sam
dramatic,
Black, all hanging out.
Dramatic tendrils of agony. Wow, just
Oh my God, that was some awesomeness.
I think Ross a little shell shocked here. I think he knows he might have let that one go away. Yeah, and he goes and he repeats what just happened there.
Oh my goodness, the odds were low.
A little. I mean, there's one tendrils on the deck, maybe 2 if he decided the other one in, which I can't imagine he did.
Oh, that was exciting.
Wow. So, great performance today by both of them. Adam Prosak will be your leader heading into day 2 at 8-0.
Wow.
Ross Merriam at 7-1.